Hello.
I have a question about destiny.
Yeah.
I went to a retreat with Roger Castillo last year, and it's been with me all the time since then.
Yeah.
And he also mentioned Ramesh Pasika,
Yeah.
and he was really putting a lot of emphasis on this non-division
Yeah.
thing. And I just want to clarify so that I understand it correctly.
I can't guarantee that I'm going to have the same opinion as them, because opinions come and go and they change and they evolve, you know. And I love both of them, but my opinions have changed. They're just opinions.
I'd still love to hear what you say about it.
Yeah, destiny. It's a great word.
Yeah. And also, you may stare as much as you want. I don't mind.
Oh, stare, yeah.
So I'm thinking one way that one could express what liberation is would be to say that it's the full realization that we're entirely bound, or that what we think we are is entirely bound by previous conditioning or karma. That everything in the history of the world since the Big Bang has led up to this point, this exact moment.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no freedom whatsoever in what body, mind, emotions, all of that do. And that this entire concept of this this one inside that makes the decision is the real illusion.
Yeah.
Could one say that?
Oh, could one say that? Well.
Does it make sense to you?
I was just really appreciating and enjoying your question, and then could one say that? So just say the last sentence again. Before you said, could one say that?
I don't remember which one that was. It just comes out of me.
Yeah.
Well, to sum it up again, could one say that the actual question that
was awakening
is then is the full recognition that there is absolutely no freedom in what we experience in this thing called the world. That everything is then bound by previous actions.
I would say that realization is actually a side effect on the human form. So that realization belongs in the human form, and it's a side effect which will make the human more peaceful. So to me, awakening is non-verbal and completely energetical, and that is an effect that a process that evolves in the human. That realization. So I'll explain to you what my interpretation of awakening is. But no, this is the problems with politics, with teachers, with any ideology, is that it can never be captured because ideas are always changing. We were recently in India, and this sadhu came up to us in India, and we were just like hanging out on a rock, and he just was passing through, and he just said to us, you know, infinite knowledge is infinite, and I just thought how beautiful and wonderful that is. That knowledge is infinite. We always are trying to contain knowledge and think, yeah, we got there, we made it, and put our flag in and be like, I know something. But if it's infinite, then just think of all the things we don't know. Isn't that wonderful? That's so freeing. There's so much we don't know about what's happening. So to that, I would say that that's an evolution that happens in the human after the energetic shift. So this non-dual realization is not for the person on any level. It's energetical. Then it has an effect on the human level. It can do prior to the awakening have an effect on the human level. But this is non-human. So this is about something that is non-human. I think the way that I'm going to describe that, and the metaphor I'm going to give, is through the metaphor of a virtual reality headset. So has anyone here experienced virtual reality? Like put on that, it's so cool. If you've not done it, go and do it. Like I think a lot of people now, you can get like Google goggles, but you can also, like if you're in a city, go somewhere and play a game in virtual reality, and it's such an amazing experience. Just take a travel sickness pill first. And so in virtual reality, so if we just use this idea of Google goggles, I think it's evolved past that, but you just get these, you put your phone into like a goggle set, and you put on like glasses, and then it gives you the experience of being on a roller coaster or something. So say like recently a few years ago I did one in Berlin, and in that experience I was a cow. So when I looked through there, I did hope for a better animal than a cow, like a wolf or an eagle or something, but I got confused and ended up as a cow. It's like, okay, so I'm a cow for this experience. So I put on my goggles and I became a cow and I had hoofs. And it was so exciting. Like, you had to go through this puzzle world and work things out, and you had like a backpack on, and it was designed to fit the room, so you could just like run around and you didn't hit the walls. So as soon as you got close to the walls, then a wall in that reality would come up and you wouldn't hit it. So it was a really cool experience. So you began to rely on it. At first you're like frightened that you'll hit something, but then you begin to rely on this world and just believe that you're not going to hit anything, and you begin to really feel like when you're pulling a lever in the virtual reality that it's happening, like it gives you a sense or a sensation. And when you put those goggles on at first, you know you're looking through these Google goggles or this headset, and you know you're looking at a made-up world that's made by a computer, and it's really exciting. You get really involved in it. And like the more that the game goes on, you get more and more excited. But imagine if this game went on for millions of years. Like, so imagine if this game didn't end. So you went to Berlin to play this game. You didn't realize it was like a million-year game. You thought it was just like a couple of hours. It's a bit like taking a boga. You think it's just a short time, and then it goes on for like forever, and you've been in like multiple realities for many, many years. But so you go in there and you're like, okay, it's a million-year game. Now, what's going to happen at first is at first you'll be super brave and you'll really go for it and you'll do all these things. But then over time, especially if it's like multi-sensory, as if you feel pain when you do things wrong, you'll begin to believe it's real. So if you're experiencing pain when you do something wrong, you'll begin to be afraid of that pain. Like, if you didn't feel anything, it would be easier, but you'll begin to feel that pain is real, and you'll take it more seriously. Because it has an experience. It's like getting electrocuted by something. It has an experience, so you avoid that. And you begin to believe in it a bit more. But then imagine if it keeps going on and on and on. You'll begin to forget your old life. You'll begin to forget that you once were a non-duality teacher that was speaking to people, and that you'd just gone into a virtual reality. And after 10,000 years, you'll have completely forgotten this life and thought, maybe I dreamed it once, or maybe it's completely gone. And you'll just solely believe that you're this cow in this virtual spaceship that's like floating around trying to save the planet. And you'll become more and more invested in this dream, and your old world will be forgotten. And before you know it, you'll forget that you're looking through anything, and you'll just 100% believe you're this cow. And in the dream, that will have an experience, because you'll stop being so adventurous and you'll stop taking so many risks, because you'll be concerned about dying and concerned about losing all your virtual friends. And you'll be concerned that when you wake up, you'll be nothing, or that you won't exist. So your dream will become more like real. And then you'll begin to go through all phases. You'll get bored of the dream, you get sick of the dream, but you won't even know it's a dream. You'll just think it's real, and then you'll be like, what's the meaning? What's the point? There'll be so many things. And then after a million years, you might be ready to jump off the edge of the cliff just to see what's happening. Don't do this in this dream. But you might decide, I'm going to jump off the cliff and see what happens. You might, after a million years, you might just want to see. Like, if I jump off, if I walk outside of the spaceship, what happens to me? And then, who is it that wakes up? Is it the cow inside the virtuality that wakes up, or is it Lisa that's the non-duality teacher that lives on planet Earth? So the question's back to you. You're like, I got lost at a boga.
Well, of course, there is no cow anymore then. It's Lisa.
So who is it that wakes up in this reality?
Well, like you said, you could put the name life on it, God, whatever you want.
So then, the realization of destiny and the realization of choice and all these realizations that happen when you realize that you're not that body, that's all for the person. That's all something the person thinks about, because thinking is something in this dream. It's not the experiencer of this dream. So it's like the cow. If the cow started thinking about, like, do I have a choice? That's all in the cow's world, and it's not the cow that wakes up. Although it normally happens in cause and effect, so normally the precursor to waking up is the cow beginning to ask, who am I? But yet it's not the cow that wakes up and has that experience. So waking up is a completely impersonal thing that has nothing to do with the human, but it affects the human, affects the dream.
Yeah, but about the cow now.
Yeah.
The cow has no way of affecting when this is going to happen. When
No.
you ask the cow,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It happens exactly when it happens.
Yeah.
And that's where destiny comes in to me. I mean, the way we talk about each other.
Yeah.
So whenever it happens, it could not have happened at any other point in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an answer for me.
Yeah, but just know that that is an intellectual understanding which will have an effect on the body. But this is a human dichotomy, like it's a human drama. Like to consciousness, it doesn't care about destiny or no will or free will or...
Yeah, since consciousness is what is free from all of that anyway, to start with. So nothing really matters to consciousness then.
But on the human level, so let's go to just the human level, is that a human will be unhealthy if it walks around believing it has no free will. It will send the solar plexus chakra into chaos and you'll begin to get depressed.
Yeah, that's what most ordinary people would say, but to me it's really the other way around.
Yeah, that can be the way. Yeah, they can be a way. If you have a strong sense of doership and guilt, it can be super relaxing. But it can also lead to depression on the solar plexus level because the human is always designed to feel like it has free will. And the reason is simply evolutionary. So I mess up my English sometimes. So if I say a wrong word, this is why I often don't speak in England, because they will realise if I'm speaking second language, sometimes they don't realise my mistakes. I'm more forgiving. Or they understand it, they're like, yeah, I get that word too. So evolutionary, like we are designed to have the appearance of free will and the appearance of choice, because the appearance of choice gives us the ability to update this machine of potential possibilities that could happen in the future and what is the most effective way to go forward now. It's very important for the machinery to have that appearance.
Absolutely, but when the machinery is kind of dysfunctional anyway, there may come a point when the opposite is actually the better way of going. Because I feel you're talking a lot about forgiveness, for example.
Yeah.
And to me, that would be the absolute paradigm of forgiveness, to know that no one ever has had anything to decide.
I think it's an energetic experience when you energetically shift that and that forgiveness happens, and then that slowly transcends into the human form, and then over time the forgiveness will come quicker and quicker until there's no blame and guilt and all these, or little blame. Like blame is relevant to a point, like it's important to identify who crashed whose car and who has to put the insurance forward. Like so there's an important to put, but it will become lighter and lighter and lighter. Like a lot of the human suffering is evolved in this unnecessary thinking of blame, guilt, who did this, what am I, what have I done, I'm guilty, they're guilty. But it's very important on the human level to recognize the difference between non-duality teaching and the human level. When you morph them, non-duality sucks as a therapy practice. So like someone goes to therapy because they've got a really narcissistic partner and they've had narcissistic abuse for many, many years, and then the non-duality reply is, yeah, but there is nobody, there is no blame, there is no guilt. So then more than likely they end up staying in that relationship and blaming themselves. Like it's not ideal. So what a lot of teachers do is they mix the two. So they talk about therapy and they talk about non-duality together, because it's not good to use there is no doer as a way to free yourself from the human conditions. So the non-duality is beyond human, and it's beautiful, and it's not about language, it's not about coming away with a concept and putting it on you. And then the therapy part, to me, the best and the most effective way of healing is understanding your chakras and understanding what it is your body wants. I'm also, ironically, a big fan of law of attraction, which I'm maybe like the only non-dual teacher that's a fan of law of attraction, because it seems to be so opposite. But I think that wants are an impersonal want. They're not your wants, they don't belong to you, but you attract what you want. So let me give you an example. If you're walking around like a victim all the time, it's not on the surface what you want is to have someone be aggressive to you. So I don't know if you've got anyone in your family, maybe you can relate to it like this, that always plays the victim. Like, you know someone, or maybe you do, but they're a little annoying to be around. Like everything's like happens to them. It's like their car accident, why does it happen to me? Or why do it always happens to me? So their defense is always, why me? And it's a little irritating, like after a while. And on the surface level, they don't want to be the victim. Like on the deepest level, they just want freedom like everyone else. But what they're focusing on is what they don't want. And whatever you focus on, you get. You can't help it. It's just the way your body orientates itself. So in that experience of a car crash, there is so many things. Like I had a car crash and wiped out my dad's car when I was 25, and I had an awakening experience. Like a lorry tried to squash me by accident, and he squashed half the car, and the car spun on the highway, on the motorway, and luckily no one crashed into me, and I didn't die, or I could have died. And this is just another, it carries on, just another reality. There's lots of parallel universe. But in this one, I didn't seem to die, and the car made it to the side, and the car was smashed up, but I was okay. And it was so, I just went into shock, and it was so funny, and I just had this really sweet non-realization, and it was really beautiful. So to me, that was like a really positive experience, and it was really beautiful and something that helped me grow and helped me see something beyond myself. But to somebody that's in victim, all they see is the negative, and that's all they're attracting to themselves. So the only people that can tolerate them is also people that are negative. So they're also attracting people into their life that are really negative. So they wouldn't come here, they wouldn't be able to bear it, like positive people around them would be like, oh God! And they'd have this whole story about how these people are fake. But it's really that it's just all they see and all they want. Not really, it's not really what they want, but it's what they're calling into themselves is what they don't want, because that's always what they're focused on, what they don't want. And then you meet somebody that's really focused, say, on wanting $1 million, and they're really focused on that, and they'll end up getting it, not being good or bad. It's just because they're so focused on it, but on a really pure way, and they really believe they can have it. And it's nothing personal at all. We think it's personal. We can't. We are just a bundle of information that's arrived here at this point. And it's always changing and being updated. And it's impersonal what updates us, where we find ourselves. Yes, you'll go now.
Thank you.